Nice, Mom.
Yeah, very pretty.
Thanks,
You
Mom.
look like an angel.
You look like a Valentine. Come over here and join me. Does this look on Valentine's Day? Or that's so fun.
Shh, don't do that.
We did not plan this. We walked out of different rooms. We walked out of different rooms dressed like this, so.
Dressed like what?
A Valentine.
Oh.
It's kind of like you are the heart.
The heart to your body. Oh my god, I know. I feel the same.
So nice. Okay. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. I am Melissa, and this is Jessica, and just been fucking it up. Welcome back to the channel. I am Melissa, and this is Jessica, and today we are going to talk about the different types of calorie cycles that you can do.
You have like a snaggle tooth.
I know, so do you. That one and that one. I didn't mean to. No, you moved into it, Melissa, and I did not. I just touched your teeth.
I swear to God, I didn't move into it.
All right, back to the channel. But before we get into the video, make sure you like, subscribe, find the bell to get notified every time we drop a new video, and leave a comment if you want the chance to win a $25 gift card.
Is it bleeding?
No. 5 different types of calorie cycles. So if you've been following us for any period of time, you know that we teach calorie cycling. Most of you guys know how to calorie cycle in like a week over week basis, meaning you have your weekly number of calories and then you create high calorie and low calorie days every single week to come out to a total weekly deficit. So that might look like you have 5 low calorie days and 2 high calorie days, or 4 low calorie days and 3 high calorie days. But in this video, what we want to do is teach you a couple of other ways that you can structure a calorie cycle that you might not have considered outside of like the standard weekly cadence. I think it's really important to figure out, first of all, what does your life look like? When are you usually triggered to want to eat more foods? We hear from a lot of women that, you know, they have a really hard time sticking to their calories around their menstrual cycle. So like that week right before you're about to start, you know, menstruating, like right before you're about to get your period. I know for me, that's when I am a monster and usually want everything salty. And then when I actually do get my cycle, I want everything sweet. When you are zooming out and looking at like month over month, if you are someone that falls into that category of like your cravings are just through the roof, you want everything in sight, and you just kind of need some more flexibility even on your low days, you can do a monthly calorie cycle. You can plan your calorie cycle around your cycle. Calorie cycling doesn't always have to be the way that we teach it standardly. Like you can do, you know, 1 week is a low, like all low days, the next week is all high days, the next week is all low days, the next week is all high days. If you take, you know, those 4 days before your period and like the 4 days like during your period, and you're like, these are my high days for the entire month. I'm taking, you know, 7, 8 days in a row where these are gonna be my high days. You are more than welcome to do that. Yeah, and I think you just have to understand if that is the time of the month that always trips you up. Like we had a client we were talking to the other week where she said, no matter what I do, I always end up blowing it just like the 3 days before my cycle and like 3 or 4 days into my cycle. And you have to understand like the way your body's functioning during that time, it makes sense that you're more hungry because while everything's kind of going on down there, you are burning and expelling more energy, more calories than usual. So your body, being the smart machine it is trying to replace those calories, right? By searching out food and by being a little bit more hungry than usual. So if you're someone that's really affected by that, understanding that that's something that might throw you off, and start to plan your monthly calorie cycle around that is something that will help keep you more consistent month over month. Okay, so that is planning your cycle around your cycle, which is very cool. What is number 2? So number 2 would be planning your cycle around events. So before me and Melissa started this venture, we both worked in the corporate world. And so we were always having different lunch meetings or client dinners or things like that, that no matter how much you try to stay consistent to your plan, there would always be at least one night a week or one day during the week where we'd have to go out to like a pretty nice lunch where there weren't a whole lot of like healthy options on the menu. And so that would be something that would always throw us off. So if you live that type of a schedule and you constantly are going out to lunch or you have client meetings, one way that you can adjust your calorie cycle is to look ahead, like look at your calendar for the next few weeks
and start to cherry pick the days when you might have client lunches or client dinners or even happy hours where you know you're probably going to have to indulge a little bit more, have a few drinks, whatever it is that you're going to have to do, and start to create those days throughout the month as your higher calorie days.
The way that we teach calorie cycling for brand new people, it's usually easier to have your high days be the same days every single week and your low days be the same day every single week. If you are someone who like your schedule is just kind of all over the place, this would be a great way to be like, okay, let me get a calendar out and say, this is going to be a high day on Wednesday, and next Thursday is going to be a high day, and next Tuesday is going to be a high day, and you can start to just kind of have your high days on the days where you have events or things where you can't have full control over your food. That's going to eliminate the stress of like, I have so many things, I feel like I can't stick to my diet, because you can plan ahead. You know that you have a significant more amount of calories on those days. So even if you're not tracking 100% perfectly, you have that wiggle room, and then the other days around are your low days.
So number 3, we've done create your cycle around your cycle, create your cycle around any type of like specific events that you have on your calendar. What's number 3?
Number 3 is planning your cycle around holidays.
Ooh, okay, so that's fun.
Well, we have a lot of holidays coming up. We have
Valentine's Day. We have Valentine's Day.
St.
We have
Patrick's Day.
President's Day weekend, which is a long weekend. I know a lot of like parents with kids, because kids are off of school, they usually like do a long weekend away, which is why it's so expensive to go anywhere. Thanks a lot, everyone. I can never go anywhere that weekend because all you guys are
so selfish.
Everywhere with your children, taking up all the spaces, spending all the money.
Okay, quiet. It's not about you. So you have Valentine's Day, we have President's Day weekend, we have St. Patrick's Day, and then
Easter, Passover.
We have Memorial Day. Oh, Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Drinko.
Cinco de Drinko. Taco Tuesday. I don't know.
Yep.
We have Memorial Day, and then once it hits Memorial Day, like you're pretty much
you're done.
Frocked. Like frocked. You have Memorial Day, 4th of July.
Yeah, we know. We get it. We don't have to list off holidays for the entire year. We get it. We understand. Thank you. So this is a big thing, especially if you have a family or friends, anything like ours, where anytime it's a holiday, it is like, we need to get together and we need to have all of the food and all of the drinks, and like, that's just something that you do, right? You want to be able to go out for Valentine's Day and have a nice dinner and a couple glasses of wine and eat a box of Russell Stover's chocolate and not feel bad about it. So understanding that there might be specific periods throughout the year where not only might you have one day, specific day like Valentine's Day, maybe you have President's Day where it's like a 4-day long weekend,
right,
where you want to go away and you don't want to have to like bring your food scale everywhere, weigh, log, and track everything. You want some more freedom and flexibility. Planning your calorie cycle and looking out almost like a 2 or 3 month view and saying, here's all the things that I have coming up, and creating almost monthly calorie cycles around those events are something that could be helpful. That way you don't feel like you're so, handcuffed to your high and low calorie days throughout a week.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like from all 3 of these so far, the main takeaway is just build it around your life and like what you have going on. I mean, like if you're looking at it as like a 2-3 week like month view, I know like, yes, that is great to kind of plan ahead. For some people that might be overwhelming. So kind of like look at, okay, for the month of February, I have this, and this going on. Like now, how can I start to like plan, even like break it down into, okay, so then this week I know is going to be this, this week will be this, and kind of like break it up into chunks up for like February. And then when you get closer to March, do that for March, and kind of do that for every month. And that way you feel like you can actually, for the first time in your life, probably like be present and enjoy the actual holidays.
That's the 3rd way. 4th way is
traveling.
So whether you're traveling for vacation or whether you travel for work, again, you can be away for anywhere from like 1 to 2 days, or you're away for an entire week or maybe more.
Yeah, I mean, we also have a lot of parents who like you travel every weekend for your kids' sports. You're on the road from like Saturday morning until Sunday night, and it's kind of like the only things that are available are oftentimes a lot of fast food, or like the team is going out for dinner to like Applebee's or Chili's or things like that, where you don't have the best options. So if you are someone in that category, like plan your high days around those days. If you travel for work, you usually know ahead of time when you're going to be away, like when your travel dates are for that. Like the entire time you're away, make those high days, because You usually have like cocktails with like your clients or your coworkers. So you're always eating out, right? Like you're never making food. And then what was the other one? For like vacation. I mean, vacation is going to be something where, you know, you're absolutely going to want to fully enjoy yourself and not feel any ounce of restriction. Those are going to be, you know, definite times where you 100% want to make sure those are high days.
And so I think what you can start to see here is that calorie cycling really does give you this ultimate freedom and flexibility, whether it is, you know, a weekend trip where, sure, then in that case, if every weekend you are traveling away with travel sports, cool, we can follow that 5-day low, 2-day high split. Or if you are in a place where I'm traveling for an entire week for work and I do that every single month, I can zoom out and look at, you know, a monthly calorie cycle where I maybe have 3 low weeks and I have 1 very high week. There's so many different ways that you can fit all those puzzle pieces together, and that's the cool part about calorie cycling is no matter what your lifestyle looks like, you're able to make those adjustments to make it work for you.
Okay, number 5.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite ones because I think we both use this, is calorie cycling around training. So if you are someone who you're training pretty heavily, like we have most of our clients strength train, some people are brand new to strength training, some people are training pretty aggressively. No matter where you fall, if you feel like you're hungrier when you are training or when you're doing cardio, or you just need more fuel to help support those days, like you feel kind of weak on like a really heavy leg day. Planning your calorie cycle around your training is a great way to understand like, okay, if I'm always starving whenever I, you know, have a leg day, cool, I'm gonna give myself more calories on that day. That way I'm not cranky and miserable and sore. Or if I always feel really weak when I go into leg day, I'm gonna let myself have some more calories before I go into my workout. That way I can properly fuel my workout.
Yeah, and the cool thing about that is if you are on a training split where, you know, your leg day or whatever day that you need more calories on kind of varies week to week. Like some days it's on a Wednesday, other days it's on a Saturday. Like you can just make it so on leg day, like that's my high day and the other days are my low days, right? So that is something where it can be more flexible. Usually at that point you are working with a coach who is going to kind of instruct you on how to, you know, implement a calorie cycle for your training days. But yeah, I mean, if you can line up like a Saturday, leg day, and high day,
Those
like
are
that is
beautiful.
winning because then you get to like have a full bagel, go train legs really heavy, maybe have a second bagel, I don't know, but like have some pasta and it's just a beautiful day of I'm kind of sore, I trained really hard and I'm eating
all
a lot
the
of food.
Yeah, and who doesn't want to? So hopefully this was helpful for you guys to understand that calorie cycling isn't like a one-size-fits-all approach. It doesn't have to be as basic as 2 high days and 5 low days or 3 high days and 4 low days. You have that ultimate flexibility to be able to make this work however is going to be best for you. So we'd encourage you to, if you are only following like that weekly schedule, start to zoom out a little bit and plan ahead, look at what your month looks like and see if there's a way you can be a little bit more creative to accommodate whatever life looks like for you. If you feel like you need some more hand-holding guidance or support when it comes to creating your own calorie cycle, be sure to check out our 6-week complete calorie cycling guide for fat loss. It's linked in the description below. It's going to give you the exact steps you need to take in order to, number 1, speed up your metabolism, number 2, plan out your very own calorie cycle for fat loss, and number 3, understand the different areas that you're going to need to assess every single week to make sure that you make the best progress possible. And
God, I hate that.